Some of you have asked how you can help us, while most of us would say we want wine. Italian Wine Podcast is a publicly funded, sponsor-driven enterprise that needs the moolah. You can donate through Patreon or GoFundMe by heading to ItalianWinePodcast.com. We would appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Listen in as we journey to some of Italy's most beautiful places in the company of those who know them best, the families who grow grapes and make fabulous wines. Through their stories, we will learn not just about their wines, but also about their ways of life, the local and regional foods and specialities that pair naturally with their wines, and the most beautiful places to visit. We have a wonderful journey of discovery ahead of us, and I hope you will join me. Welcome to Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Today we travel to Umbria, to one of Italy's most historic wine zones, Orvieto, to meet my guest, Niccolò Barberani, the winemaker at the family Barberani Wine Company. Ciao Niccolò, how are you today? Is the sun shining over the beautiful Lago di Corbara?
Ciao, buongiorno. I'm very, very happy to be here with you today. And I'd say it's a beautiful rainy day here, but that's very, very useful because the soil needs water. So we are very, very happy even if it's rainy.
Okay, so in this winter period, rain is very important for that moisture to penetrate deep into the vineyards.
It is very, very, very important, especially with our clay limestone soils. It's fundamental to.
Okay.
Yes, it really is.
Now, Niccolò, for our listeners who may not have been to Orvieto before, to the beautiful wine country that surrounds it, can you please describe the countryside where you are? Maybe also tell us a little bit about Orvieto, this amazing historic city.
Of course, Orvieto, it's really, really a beautiful town and a beautiful area. It's one of the oldest ancient winemaking area of Italy. We are very proud to have 3,000 years of history in Orvieto of winemaking. The Etruscans were making wine in Orvieto, but let's describe a little bit about the soil and the area. The area is one of the biggest DOC that we have in Italy. The Orvieto DOC, it's also going a little bit out in the Lazio area, just a little bit. And it's mainly divided into macro areas, which is very, very important. Orvieto is very close to a lake that is called Bolsena Lake, and another lake that is called Corbara Lake. The Bolsena Lake is the oldest and biggest volcanic lake of Europe. So this volcano, with his eruptions, created all the soils around the west area of Orvieto. So the west part of the Orvieto vineyards are in a volcanic soil made of tuffo, that is a volcanic rock. Then the east area, the hard closer to the Umbrian region and Tuscany, it's completely different. We have an older soil, sedimental soil, and in particular where I am now in my company, that is just close to the Corbara Lake, that is the Tiber River, the river that goes to Rome, Il Tevere, is made with a very, very unique clay limestone calcareous soil. And there was the sea here about 25, 30 million years ago. So it's very, very old, very poor. But we know very well that in the oldest soils, in the poorest soil, the vines are growing in a marvelous way.
Okay, that's a beautiful description and an important one. I wasn't aware so much of that distinction between the tuffo, this compacted volcanic ash, this stone soils that are very good for the vine, and also the limestone clay, the more sedimentary deposits by the lake. Now, Orvieto itself is actually, the city is built on a butt of this tuffo stone. Is that right? And for centuries and millennia, the town itself was riddled with underground caves.
Yes, that's something that is incredibly special about Orvieto. It's a volcanic tufaceous rock. It says that maybe should be the top of the Bolsena volcano that from the explosion formed this beautiful rock. And this rock it's unique not just because of the soil and the construction itself, but it's unique because Orvieto it's a very small town, but it's the second Italian city for the numbers of underground caves in the town, and they are all hand carved. So this is pretty special and strange, but there's a meaning in that. The Etruscans were the first population living in the Orvieto area around 3,000 years ago. So very before the Romans, so very long time ago. And those caves were very useful for them because they were taking out the rocks to build the buildings, but also they used the caves for their to preserve, to evolve their food, and especially wine. So they were so smart and so brilliant in winemaking that they developed a unique technique that we even use today in modern ways. That is something very special. It's called the 3-floor winemaking processes. They were using the caves underground in 3 floors to make the wine. How the first floor that was with a temperature around 25 degrees was to press the wine. So they pressed the wine by feet, and then slowly the wine was going down. In the second floor that was around 15 degree, and that was the perfect temperature for the fermentation of the wine, which is incredible. Then after the fermentation, they made the wine flow in the third floor. The third floor was around 5 degree of temperature, so it's perfect for the conservation. It was the natural refrigerator, we could say, of the ancient time. And this method is the same kind of method that we even use today in a natural way to preserve it, to make the wine evolve in the winemaking processes. So this was really something incredible.
That's incredible, Niccolò. So in effect, in ancient times under the Etruscans, the Romans, through the Middle Ages, Orvieto benefited from the perfect conditions for making wine. Even today with stainless steel and temperature control, these conditions are only as good as what you naturally have in Orvieto.
Yes. And the evolution of the winemaking was not stopped with the Etruscans because the Romans conquered all the area. And here in our company and close to our company, we found an old Roman factory of wine containers, wine orchards. They were producing those containers, they were putting the wine inside. The Tiber River was the highway of the Roman time.
Okay.
So they used the Tiber River to ship the wine from here to Rome, and then from Rome to all the Mediterranean area, all the Roman Empire. So we can say even in Roman time, the Orvieto wine was exported in all around Europe, and that's beautiful. That's really amazing.
That is amazing. Yeah.
Then after that, in the medieval time, the church state the Pope conquered all the area. And the Pope was very smart, I would say, because he kept Orvieto, he said, as his holiday town. But the real thing, it was that Orvieto is a natural fortified rock. So he used, when in Rome there were some problems, he used to escape in Orvieto. He just closed the door and it was safe. But he needed 2 things. The water, and so he built the St. Patrick's Well, which is something beautiful to see and to visit. And then he needed a cathedral, so he built the Duomo of Orvieto, the Duomo Cathedral, which is one of the most beautiful cathedrals that we have in Italy. And it's full of paintings. It's full of really, really incredible handcrafted stones that were making, using and paying the painters and all the artisans half in money and half in wine. And all the paintings are surrounded by vines, by grapes. So the wines were again, really, really present in the culture of the medieval time here.
Oh, that's a wonderful, wonderful description of the importance and centrality of wine throughout Orvieto's history. And of course, continuing today.
Yes, we are very proud to continue this beautiful tradition.
Absolutely. Now, tell me, Niccolò, I think I visited your winery in 1990, so it's a very long time ago, more than 30 years.
Wow.
But I recall that, in fact, originally, I think you hadn't moved to Baschi that long ago, but the family had originally begun in those historic caves up at the top of the town. Is that correct?
It is very correct, and I'm very happy that you remember this, because it's a part of the history of our family, obviously, but also part of the history of Orvieto town. My family, the Barberani family, it's here in this area since 300, 400 years. After the Second World War, my grandfather, Vittorio, with his brothers, went to live in the Orvieto town and opened the three most important bars of the town. And he was so in agriculture, so much in winemaking processes. He was called the Leonardo da Vinci of the area, because he was a little bit of a genius. He was building agriculture instruments from the old carri of the Second World War. So it was something very, very. He was a person who was very, very charismatic, and so with he was producing the wine for the bars, and the wine was so good, and Orvieto was so full of people visiting the town, that he decided in the 61 to build up a company and to put the label Barberani in this beautiful wine made here in this area. And the funny thing was that at that time, our wine making processes, our cellar was inside the underground caves of Orvieto, which is something really crazy thinking about the modern times, but for that time was really, really special. I have beautiful memories of that, and my father really, really built and grew the company in those beautiful caves, making wine in the Tufo caves, which is something really, really incredible. I remember Robert Mondavi coming to see our wine cellar. And he was so surprised and about that he gave a beautiful present to my father, remembering those unique wine cellars. And so until the early 80s, middle of 80s, we were there working there, making wine there. Obviously, that was a little bit of uncomfortable and not very easy to do. So my father decided to move inside the vineyard, and in the most beautiful hill of our estate, he built a modern wine cellar with very, very incredible sustainability concepts, which are really very modern even today. All the people that is coming to see our company, our estate, is so surprised about what we do here, using the natural resources, which is something really special. Consider that we built this building like it is in an underground cave, so the humidity and the temperature is preserved. There is no air conditioning inside. There's a natural Italian patent that is conditioning in a natural way all the area, all the inside the building of the cellar without using air conditioning. We use for 95% all natural light in our cellar. We don't use electrical light. Imagine in the 85 to to see, to invent such a beautiful idea to work in a very, very sustainable and respectful way of our nature, which is now a beautiful thing that we really enjoy every day here.
Gosh, that's really visionary, Niccolò, that your father had that foresight to realize the importance and perhaps to try to replicate those beautiful natural conditions that were so inconvenient up in the town of Orvieto, but which were so perfect for winemaking.
Yes.
And now, was it for this reason as well that you then also have decided, and I'm not sure when it was, that you went completely organic?
Italian Wine Podcast. If you think you love wine as much as we do, then give us a like and a follow anywhere you get your pods.
Yes, it was very natural for us. We always, the first thing to say is that where we are in a natural protected area. It's the Tiber River Natural Park, Parco Fluviale del Tevere. So the area is protected. You cannot build here. You cannot use chemicals here. So for us to respect this beautiful ecosystem, which is not just for animals and plants, but also the microbiotic side of the ecosystem, it's really, really well balanced. There's a beautiful harmony here. If you come here, you see around incredible forests, hills full of this green that is typical from the Umbrian region. Then there is the lake, so this water that is it's the mirror of the sun, and so the light that comes to the vineyard, it's really, really incredible and useful for the winemaking processes. And so this harmonic side, this incredible balance that we have, we want to preserve it. Our duty and our role here is not just to making wine. Our role is to preserve what we have, is to respect what we have, and to evolve it to the maximum level. That's my focus, and was my focus of my grandfather and my father. And me and my brother, we are doing this job with this purpose. That's why we put really a lot of efforts, not just to be organic, but to respect our nature in a many ways. Consider that now we don't use any chemical products inside the vineyards, even not copper sulfide, because we don't need it. We did a lot of experimentation with two different universities to develop a way to use all natural products inside the vineyards, like leaves extracted from yeast, extracted from algae or rock dust, that is very, very useful and very natural for the plants. And then we try to do circular agriculture. So everything that the plants are giving to us, from the wood of the stem to the everything that we take out from the harvest, we put it inside the soil of our vineyards to fertilize it and to give it back to the plants. And then we do organic fertilization also, obviously, but not just that. We plant seeds every year in autumn to have a natural fertilization and to preserve this beautiful harmony of the soil, which is incredibly important. And that's why we have new vineyards, but we mostly have old vineyards that are even 50, 60 years old because of that, because the soil is very well balanced.
Now, Niccolò, let's talk about all these incredible efforts to get the best fruit to make a very special wine, Orvieto Classico. Tell our listeners what makes Orvieto, this wine that has been famous for hundreds and thousands of years even. What makes the wine of Orvieto so special?
Orvieto Classico, it's, as you said, has an incredible long story. And the character of the Orvieto wine and of the Orvieto soil is pretty unique. A lot of people is saying that Orvieto area is one of the best area to make, especially white wines in Italy, because of the soil, because of the unique climate condition between those two lakes, and later we'll talk about it. But the grapes that we use are pretty unique too. The original blend of the Orvieto was from 5 grapes that were Grechetto, Trebbiano, Drupeggio, Verdelle, and Malvasia. But now we are focused, and my company and my family, me and my brother Bernardo, we are focused to using only our indigenous grapes. So for us, the Orvieto is made with the Grechetto, which is the prince of our white grapes, especially in our area, is developing in an incredible way, and the Trebbiano Procanico, which is a Trebbiano that grows typically in this area. So those two varieties are working together in an amazing way. The Grechetto is very powerful, considering that it's one of the few white grapes that is developing the tannins inside. So there's a beautiful, strong part of the wine, and another part that is very fruity and aromatical. And then the Trebbiano is giving elegance to the wine, and is giving a lot of apple and banana and some incredible aromas. So they're working together in an amazing way. And the Orvieto wine is not a wine that is taking you for his power or for his incredibly high alcohol content or stuff like that. Orvieto wine is good and is very famous for its elegance. Our soils and our climate condition is giving to the wine incredible elegance, incredible drinkability, and that does not mean that the wine is easy, but it means that the wine is elegant, it's enjoyable. You can pair it with a lot of amazing food, and it's a wine that is lasting for a very, very long time, even if it's a white. This is a character that is pretty unique, because most of the whites are lasting for 2-3 years and then they're no good. But the Orvieto wines are lasting for 5, 10, 15, 20 years in an incredible evolution way. So it's really, really interesting and pretty, pretty unique.
Well, that's a beautiful description. And I think elegance and drinkability are so important in the best wines. So those are great attributes. Now, Niccolò, you've also mentioned the particular climate and microclimate conditions which sometimes arise in autumn months, I guess, that lead to a very, very special wine. Let's talk now about Calcaia, about these amazing dessert wine that you are producing.
Yes, I'm very happy that you mentioned it, because Orvieto area, and especially where we are, close to the Corbara Lake, close to the Tiber River, is really something that is unique in Italy. We are the only area of Italy that can spontaneously develop the botrytis, the noble rot. And it's something that is an old tradition. Even the Etruscans and the Romans were making it, and so my father was the first one that was thinking about it. And by chance, it happened that they found out there's developing of this mold, this mushroom growing around the grapes. So let's talk about what it is really. Here in autumn time, from the middle period of September, we have a special and climate condition. We have a lot of humidity during the night. So if you come here, you can see anything, fog everywhere. Then during the day, around 9:30, it comes the wind and the sun. So all the humidity, all the fog is fading away, and there is a dry climate condition. This duality makes develop a rot that is the normal rot that is growing around the fruits or everywhere when you forgot your apples in your house or whatever, But with this climate condition, it develops in a special way. It's called botrytis. It's called the noble rot. And why noble? Because it's growing only outside the berries and not inside. So growing outside means that this mold is searching for water, so it's doing little holes inside the skin of the berries, taking out the water, so concentrating the sugarness, but not just the sugarness, also the acidity, and giving to the grapes and to the fruits amazing aromas, amazing scents, incredible components inside the wine that are that you will discover later in the wine that are really, really unique and giving to the wine something very, very special. So my father is working with this kind of winemaking method and process from the 70s. And in the 80s, he came out with the first label of the Calcaia, which is a sweet dessert wine. But I'd say to call it a dessert wine is not properly good because it's more. This sweet wine is not sticky, it's not heavy, it's not just for sweet, but it's a wine that is so complex. It has this beautiful acidity that it's still very, very fresh, that you can pair it not just by himself and not just with sweets, but also with amazing, amazing food. And like I would say, cheese is the first choice. If you have some goat cheese or blue cheese, the pairing is outstanding. Here with the traditional food, we pair it also with the pigeon liver, which is something very, very special to try. But if you go in the seaside, you can pair it with oysters, which is crazy to think about it. But if you try it, you will be incredibly impressed because this beautiful sweetness and then this acidity that is very fresh is cleaning the flavor of the oysters in your mouth and give you an experience that is outstanding, really. And then also, I'd say you can pair it with the Christmas sweets, like the panettone or the torrone. It's really, really a perfect pairing with this wine. And the complexity that the Botrytis, the noble rot, is giving to the wine is something that is really, really, really special. We're using our traditional grape, the Orvieto traditional grape. So it's again the Grechetto and the Trebbiano grapes. But this malt is giving to the grapes aromatical flavors. So if you try a Botrytis wine, an Orvieto Botrytis wine, you'll find a bouquet of flavors that is so big, so high, and so special that I'm pretty sure you've never tried before. And those are wines that can last forever, and growing in a bottle in an amazing way.
Yes, it is one of the great, great dessert wines of Italy, and I would say of the world. I haven't tried it for a little while, Niccolò, but I have incredible memories of tasting Calcaia, and I know it's still available here in the UK through the Wine Society. So it's a wine I really urge people to sample if they're able to get a hold of it. Now, you mentioned a little bit about the pairing of Calcaia and also that Orvieto itself, the Orvieto Classico, is such a versatile wine, a wine that goes so well both with the traditional foods of Umbria as well as with international cuisine from everywhere. It really is a food wine.
It is a lot, and that's one of the reasons of the big success of the Orvieto, because of the pairing. Thinking about the history of Orvieto, we also have the character of the Orvieto wine that is not very or just dry, but we also produce the amabile, the medium dry wine. It was an old tradition in Orvieto to keep a little bit more the grapes in a little bit of late harvest in the vineyards. And this tradition makes a wine that is even more drinkable, even more enjoyable, and even more pairable with food. So I imagine my wines pairing with a lot of foods. You can pair Orvieto with truffles, with mushroom, with sushi. It's outstanding. So you can try it with a lot of things and enjoy it very, very much.
Well, Niccolò, thank you so much for being my guest today and for taking our listeners on a trip not only to beautiful Umbria, to Orvieto, to the Lake Corbara, but also back in time to when wine was made by Etruscans and Romans and through the Middle Ages. It's been a really fascinating discussion with you, and I hope our listeners will pay a trip to Orvieto and visit the Barberani Winery or seek your wines out wherever they are. It's about time I came back to meet you again, and I hope I can do so sometime soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. I'm inviting everyone to come to Orvieto and see the beautiful town, obviously, and to come to our estate to be our guest. We have a beautiful agriturismo country house, and we organize wine tours. We have 2 wine shops, so it's really, really a beautiful experience in the real, natural Umbrian nature. So please enjoy. I wait for you, obviously, Mark, to come back and enjoy a glass of cachaia and Luigi and Giovanna with us. Thank you very much.
Oh, I can't wait. Grazie, Niccolò. Grazie, ciao. Ciao.
Buon anno e buon Natale. Arrivederci. Ciao. Ciao.
Buon Natale, ciao. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Please remember to like, share and subscribe right here or wherever you get your pods. Likewise, you can visit us at ItalianWinePodcast.com. Until next time, chin chin.